So definitely good afternoon, everybody. I'm so glad that we had so many people joining us today, and we have some amazing speakers today to share some information with us. This is our webinar on women in TCM and entrepreneurship. My name is Kim Dean, and I'm the admissions advisor here at CCATCM, and I'm going to be hosting today as we discuss a few different topics to get to know our guest speakers and their journeys in TCM and entrepreneurship. So feel free to put any questions you have in our chat as we go along so you don't forget along the way, and we'll have a Q&A session at the end for everybody if they've got any questions. We have a wonderful mix of speakers today, including our founder. I do believe Lucy will be joining us, our Dean of Acupuncture, in a little bit. We have some graduates, and we have some current students who are here doing the acupuncture program. So I'd like to thank our speakers for taking the time to join us today, and I really appreciate your willingness to share your stories and experiences with other women who are interested in TCM. So we'll get started with some introductions. I'm pretty sure it's fair to say none of us would be here on this webinar today if it weren't for Dr. Lee. She's the president and co-founder of CCATCM, so it's wonderful that she's able to join us today and share her story. She's joining us from her lunch break in Toronto, teaching a 2-day facial rejuvenation acupuncture course. So I really appreciate you joining us. And I know you're not going to be able to stay on the whole call, so I'd if you're okay, I'd like to be able to ask you a few questions to start out. Yeah, so would you like to start by kind of telling us a little bit about yourself and sharing your journey in TCM and acupuncture?
Oh, that's good. Otherwise I'd be showing the background I have in the PPT and the behind. Yeah, my name is Dr. Diana Lee, and I, from 16 years old, getting into TCM University. So that time, learn, become acupuncturist, traditional Chinese medicine. Then after that, I go to master degree training, and the master degree training focus on facial beauty, healing, and, in the deeper level time, like a different biological clock. And then PhD degree training, special focus on TCM gynecology, and especially focus on infertility. Up to today, we have a 588 baby as acupuncture TCM results. So we're really proud of our babies. And I'm serving nationally, internationally on association as a leader, as a board member, as a, executive committee to promoting acupuncture traditional Chinese medicine nationwide and international-wise.
Wow. Definitely quite a long history of learning and teaching and growing, and I love that. I think it's fair to say that you're an entrepreneur at heart, not only running your own clinics, but also 2 separate different colleges. What would you say is your best piece of advice that you can give to us about opening your own business?
Yeah, I just teaching a class, I just share with them. After from China, come to Canada because I love ocean. I moved to here. My English very poor, no good, and so I have to train in the English. And the reason I'm successful because I believe into acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, and I love to helping people. This is reason the business there. Beginning, we borrow $5,000, which is that time, like here, almost 50, $60,000, because this is 30 years ago. The money means something. And to set up business, because I believe in acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, I never thinking I'd be fail. I trust that you in mind to helping people, patient always there, because everyone need a traditional Chinese medicine, need acupuncture. So you always have a patient to supporting you in business to be successful. This is one thing I believe too.
Definitely.
And I'm big, and I'm successful too because because the only reason I'm successful because acupuncture, because traditional Chinese medicine.
Absolutely. I think one of my favorite quotes of yours is every family should have an acupuncturist.
Exactly.
Definitely. And with over 35 years of experience that you've had in experience and practice, what opportunities have you seen for women to innovate in such an ancient practice?
I think most of our students, or we see a lot of practitioners, is a female, and they are really getting success. Today, you can see here, we have all the table, 14 of them coming to learn cosmetic acupuncture. They all women. So women is in this healing field. We in Lancaster, a lot of them now here. In female in the nature healing field, in acupuncture field, this is really good for easy for them success because like a mother nature female, they are passionate, they love, they turn, really easy to talking to. And this energy, very easy success. And of course, this any career can be success, but for women become acupuncturist is one of the best job because you not only helping yourself, you're helping your family, you're helping your children, helping your mother, father, helping your friends, helping our community. It's a really rewarding career, really enjoyable career because you never finding you're working. You try to do something for people. It's so rewarding, make you so happy. So that's good for you, even feel better, look younger, enjoy your life better.
Thank you for sharing that. I think your passion comes through for everything that you do, and that's something that's inspiring. So I appreciate that you took the time to join us today, and I think that's a great way to look at the career for women coming into this, that
Yeah.
core belief behind it, and having those natural tendencies that, we want to help, we want to heal, we want to create an impact. And I think that fits beautifully with TCM.
Yeah, I just want to add in one more thing is
Mhm.
in my life, I just explained to the class, I only take a 2 months off from work since I'm 16. 2 times, first baby, second baby. After 1 month later, on the day 31st, I cannot wait to run to the clinic treating patient because I enjoy so much every day. That's a part of life. I never think I'm working single day in my life. And because you enjoy the job, you enjoy to healing people. Human energy is so beautiful, so rewarding. You don't feel tired. You don't feel your work. It's really enjoy. I think I've been working to end of my life too because I love my job. I love this career. I think anyone, if you go in deeply enough, you see results. You see the people, thank you. Bring baby, say thank you. Your heart singing, you love your job. So in this is the best career for women.
I
Thank
like
you.
that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't want to take up your whole lunchtime. Um, does anybody have any quick questions for Dr. Lee before she has to go? You can either unmute or you can put them into the chat if you have any questions for her.
I be listening to you. So if you need to ask a question, don't hesitate to ask.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Marianne says you're an inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
Most definitely. Definitely thank you for that. I appreciate it. And then we have, I don't think Lucy's been able to join us yet. Yeah, I don't see her on the list yet. So we'll move on to our graduates and our students. So I would definitely, sorry, switch my slide. So on top of Dr. Lee being here, we also have a couple of CCATCM alumni that are currently running their own spaces in partnership with other holistic practitioners. We have Crystal and Amanda here today. Thank you so much for joining me. Would you both be able to share a little bit about yourself and your TCM journey? Whoever wants to go first.
I can start. Hi, Amanda. I uh, I joined the college in 2019, and I was and currently am a registered massage therapist. And I went for acupuncture because I couldn't find answers to helping some of my clients. Like there's a few motor vehicle accidents, and they were having a really hard time helping them along. And I said, they're just, and I know I was doing everything right. Right. I was quite a skilled massage therapist. So I was looking for something that can help me get a few other answers. And so I joined the school in 2019. I branched out. I was working at Massage Experts for a number of years. And in 2021, I decided to branch out on my own, bringing TCM and massage therapy together, and I opened City Tree Acupuncture. And it's been an exciting and very wild ride. There's Acupuncture is very new, and so there's still a lot of education for the public and education for me as well. There, I'm still learning a lot, and but I find it's a very exciting time to be an acupuncturist coming out right now. I'm not going to say there's no challenges, as there certainly are. However, you're kind of where acupuncture is in Nova Scotia, where massage therapy was 15 years ago. So it's going to grow and expand. So this is an excellent time to enter the field.
I definitely agree with that. And the statistics, actually, I'm going to be bringing up some statistics a little bit later. They agree with that, that there's a lot more people reaching out for more holistic practices, and acupuncture as for treatments, for deeper treatments than what they've been able to find in Western medicine. Definitely. Thank
And
you for
it's been
sharing.
an excellent addition to my practice.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. We'll kind of do questions and answers along the way as we go through this. So
Okay.
it's kind of a roundtable chat. Yeah. Yeah. Crystal, would you like to introduce yourself? And yeah.
Hi, I'm Crystal. I started at the college in 2018. I moved up from the United States. I married a guy from Nova Scotia. But I actually had started my TCM education in the United States after I had finished massage school. But then I was on a reprieve trying to figure out finishing school in Canada, and that took a long time. So I've been an RMT for almost 13 years, and I have to agree with Amanda. I worked in a physio rehab center in the States, and we did not have an acupuncturist on staff at all. Especially I found with nerve pain and just certain things that you'd run into, we would hit a wall with that pain type. And just my own positive treatment experiences with acupuncture, it seemed like this is just another way that I can give a little extra to my treatments and help people in different ways. And as we know, with acupuncture, we can address so many aspects of the mind and body, and really kind of put the whole picture together with people. And yeah, I think it's wonderful tool. And it's interesting coming from a really different place with massage. See, to me, massage is way more advanced here than in parts of the United States, and acupuncture is even further behind in a lot of ways. So I see this really positive forward motion with acupuncture in Canada. I think we're going to go a long way with this. There's also the structured support of um, healthcare and insurance policies and things like that that really help our patients and we can help them. So how I fell into practice for myself was not intentional. The group of people that I work with, we all pretty much all lost our places to work over COVID, wherever we were renting and using a room or whatever happened. And we just had to come together as a group of people with all of our different experiences and education and put it together and create a whole wellness community in a sense. I think it's evolving into that. So it's been an interesting and accidental experience.
I love that it's been a different journey into entrepreneurship, that, you know, having that co-op environment. And I think TCM is very much a collaborative type of field where you're working with other practitioners and other healers and other, even collaborating with Western medicine to really get more effective treatments for your patients, if that's correct. Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And then I know Michelle is on the call. So we have one of our current acupuncture students today. I'm not sure if Rushi was able to join yet, but I know Michelle is here. Michelle, would you like to share a bit about yourself and your journey into TCM?
So I come from a background in Western medicine. I'm a licensed practical nurse, and I was a medic in the military for 30 years. I worked part-time with the military for the first 15 years of my career and full-time for the last 15. And in August 2017, I injured my shoulder at work. And through the progression of that shoulder injury that got worse, led to frozen shoulder and multiple other things that are going on in my shoulder. In the fall of 2020, when I developed chronic nerve pain, we knew that my career as a nurse and a medic in the military was coming to the end. So I had to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life, because we knew a medical release from the military would be coming. And so that's when I started looking for a way to stay in medicine, but find a path that I was going to be able to do, not only to just be able to work, but be able to help people heal in a way that I didn't have access to, due to the fact of the limitations of what is covered when you are still working full-time in the military. So I retired in the end of July 2022, and I already had my plan to go into acupuncture. And going into acupuncture I knew a bunch of other veterans who had done the acupuncture program. So I chatted with them what they thought about the program, and I knew they had gone to CCATCM. So they'd been to this school, and where it's the only accredited acupuncture school in the Maritimes, there was no other choice, because I'm only going to go to an accredited school. I would not go to a school that's not accredited, because from my years of doing prior learning assessments in the military, I know that makes a huge difference professionally. So that's what led me to applying to this school. I spoke to Kim's the previous admissions person. Actually, I spoke to two different people, because in early 2020, I spoke to someone because I was thinking what's going to go on here, but then my shoulder was doing really well. And so I was kind of just thinking later down the road. And then in the spring of 2021, I knew I was 1000% going to be moving into a new career. So I'm very lucky in the fact that, due to the fact I was medically released, I have access to re-education funding. So a huge part of my program is funded by re-education, and I love the program. It's challenging, intensive. I'm doing the blended, so I did the first year online, which was great. So I was able to have time to be able to work on my own healing journey. And what I did was, we only have one acupuncturist at home. I'm from Sydney, Nova Scotia. I had weekly acupuncture, weekly massage, monthly chiropractor, and monthly osteopath. And the difference from the range of motion in my shoulder from when I released from the military, the end of July, And in a year of doing all of those treatments regularly was amazing. It helped my pain levels. It helped my range of motion. And even though I was on class 5 days a week for 4 hours, I was still able to manage in a very comfortable pain level. For anyone who has chronic pain, they would know what that means. And so the blended program worked perfect for me in that aspect. I know other students do it and work, and I don't know how they do that. Because I cannot imagine working at all while doing this program, because there's no time, because you have 5 4-hour classes, but then you have all of your assignments, studying for tests. So if there's any way if anybody online is looking to do the program, just be prepared for the fact that it's more than there's a lot more to it than just the class time. And time management is very important. Then coming on site in September and starting to be able to observe in clinic when we started clinic observation, everything you were learning online that just seemed like a bunch of information that didn't connect, then the dots started connecting and everything came together. And once we started seeing our own patients in January till now, I feel like I knew nothing in January compared to what I know now. And the seeing patients is the best part. So if anybody is doing the program and they're feeling frustrated that they just have all this information and it doesn't make sense, it will come together.
Absolutely. And I know as admissions, I often get the questions, people kind of underestimating the program, underestimating the amount of information you're taking in learning acupuncture and TCM, thinking it's just learning how to stick needles in people and not understanding that full theory that's behind it. And when I start saying there's, it's over 2,200 hours of learning, it starts to kind of like click in how much more there is to it. So I think
and
it's
if you're
pretty
coming if you're coming fresh with absolutely positively no medical background whatsoever, it's even harder, because I would recommend anybody do some free medical terminology and anatomy and physiology learning, because those courses, you jump right into anatomy and physiology, and if you don't have any medical terminology, you're going to feel extremely lost. Many of my classmates still feel a little lost when it comes to the lack of medical terminology that they know. So learning that in advance will make things easier, because even in the TCM classes, referencing to medical terminology makes a huge difference.
I can attest to that. As an RMT, there is an advantage to having that knowledge, and also having the knowledge of being able to palpate the body, to understand the difference between boggy, soft, hot, cold, dry. If you have background in that too, that really does help.
And having comfort in direct patient care, so you don't have the first nervousness of treating patients. So if you already have, but you're not always going to get that, but if you could take some online courses for terminology and anatomy and physiology, when you do start seeing patients, at least you have something.
Yeah. And I think that leads nicely into the challenges that come with going into TCM or opening your own business. There's a lot of things that people kind of don't anticipate as a challenge. And I know everybody's experiences are different. Some of the challenges that I have up on the screen here are for the entrepreneurial side of what it's like for women opening their own businesses and some of the challenges they face. But everyone's challenges and experiences are going to be different. So I'd like to ask our speakers, what were some of the biggest challenges, other than the ones you've just discussed, that you faced and overcame to study or work in TCM? Whoever would like to.
I can go first.
Yeah, Amanda. Thank you.
Okay, for me, like I said, I started with a base of clients, so that really wasn't a challenging. Money was tight, but I think as a woman, like for me, as a massage therapist, it's a female-run business. It is. Women are very dominant in RMT, so I never really felt the less than or felt the difference in gender. So that personally for me, that was never much of an issue. My challenge was understanding about leasing and renting and those little legalities. And there's always the little small things that come up. Oh, I'm supposed to do this. Oh, I'm supposed to know that. Oh, if I cancel my rent, I have to give 6 months notice instead of like 2 or 3. It's things like that, the unexpected expenses. But for me, I think what I found the most challenging personally is getting myself out there, being unapologetically bold in just putting your message out there and being like going and pushing it
Mhm.
and not being afraid, like, oh, am I being bothersome? Am I being annoying? Well, just be annoying. Like, people spend millions of dollars to be annoying. Well, you should be annoying for free. Get your message out there. So that's the one thing I find, like with compared to men and women, I see with social media and pushing. Men have no problem being obnoxious with what they're trying to sell. Women, and I think for yeah, exactly. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think
men
women
don't
really need to
worry.
get over that. Be obnoxious, get out there, push up, get your name. I've done that a few times, and every time I really push things, I've got a few clients. Or I did a marketing thing where I did a mail marketing thing. I've got like 3 clients from that. So and they come back, so it's paying back what I owe. So it's just getting over that fear of, that's the thing, just pushing. That was my challenge, is pushing back with that. I'm very fortunate to work with Christy Daphne, who is really good at social media. She pushes and is just such a joy. You can see it online. So who you are and you love what you do, you'll see it online. So and that's the thing, learning to reach out. And even though other acupuncturists are also my competition, I can still respect what they do and learn what they do and say, okay, these 5 people, they're doing really good. They're booking in. What are they doing? Study what they're doing.
Yeah.
Humble yourself in that regard. Look what they're doing and then take it, steal it, do it, shove, put your name out there. That's what I would say.
I love that. I love that you've recognized the personal growth side of things, that
Yeah.
you don't have to be self-conscious about talking about something you're passionate about. And at the end of the day, it's to help others, right? Like, it's not being
And
pushy if you genuinely believe you're helping them.
yeah, and if the more
Yeah.
successful you are, other people think, oh my dear, she's successful too. Look how many people are successful. It gives that confidence to say, because if you don't see anyone successful and you don't talk about how other classmates and people are successful, that's something we need to do too, to say, oh yes, it's a great business. So many graduates are doing good. And that's something we really, really, really need to start doing in acupuncture, like in massage and all that. But then that's what I like to do, to show how successful people are and talk about that.
Well, there's how women
Can,
can be innovative. They can set up a network. Can
can
set up
I
an
adding something,
Yeah,
Kim?
absolutely you can.
Yeah, I heard you choose a lot of students and our acupuncturists have a medical background. In our many years, 25 years in education, have a medical background is a great idea. But they are made almost 30% of our tuition, of a student base. 70% of students don't have a medical background. So they are like, we have some graduates from high school, and some is a second career or third career. Some just housewife, have 2 or 3 children at home. So they can be successful too. If they, instead of take a 2-year program, they should take a 3-year program. For that, make a first year, second year serious study, only 2.5 days. And the third year, clinical training, 2.5 days. They can same time take care of children, have a job, then choose a career. And we have a see for many years, some is a sister together in one class become a student. We have one group is a mother, daughter, 2 years, they are take a 2-year program together, be graduate the same time. I don't know how they make it. They together treating each other. And then we
Yeah.
have a father-daughter team. And then we have a husband-wife team. So, it's really amazing to see the different age group and can successfully in same classroom be
Yeah.
graduate together.
Yeah. There's definitely opportunity, whether you've got a medical background or not. It's taught. It's all about your will and your desire to get in there and learn it. And I think one of the biggest tips I know I've been able to give students is to understand how you learn. And if you understand how you learn, you can tailor your studying and classes to accommodate that, I think. Yeah. Would anyone else like to share some of their challenges that they've faced in TCM and entrepreneurship?
I would recommend some things. Well, a couple of walls that I had in the way were circumstantial. So when it came to funding and any of those kind of programs, I wasn't a landed immigrant yet, so that was a big block. So I rented a room from a lady that had a practice in Bridgewater, and that's where I work now. And then COVID kind of consumed her business. It happened to a lot of people. So the things that I did learn from her was I gained a client base being a new person in the area for only about a year and a half, which that was yes.
Sorry, I think
Oh,
it was Dr. Lee's. I muted it.
oh, um, and that was a really huge stepping stone in itself. And I think I kind of just absorbed a lot of the things that she did do well as a business when she had it. But then when it came to starting out and taking over a lease on this huge building and it just was too good of an opportunity to pass up. All I had was a little bit of money I saved from cleaning grocery stores at night during COVID. So it was like
Wow.
there were no funds there, and that made it really scary because it felt like every month you're like, am I gonna get through these next 4 weeks? And that's where working as a team, as we built as a group, that did help because some of them could only work part-time, they have children, and that's where being a community really helped. Some practitioners prefer to work as an island, but that's really, really hard, especially if those resources aren't there. And in my case, they weren't. And it was like, all right, let's just keep the lights on and keep the rent paid and it'll all come together from there. Marketing, I'm terrible at. We finally just got a real website. Yeah, it's really hard to find, like what Amanda was saying, it's really hard to find what works, what things do you need to push, what things fail, which things succeed. That stuff's really tricky. I'm also not afraid to inter-refer. Like, say perhaps I know one of you is really specialized in a type of care, that's a client base you have. Refer those people that don't suit you because they're going to have somebody that suits your practice better and you bounce people back and forth. So that's a big thing too because it helps the entire field grow. So those are my 2 cents. There's things that I messed up and then some things that I think did work out well. And a lot of it is working with other practitioners.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that people forget is that you don't have to be perfect to start. You're going to make mistakes, but as long as you grow and learn from them, that's how you grow a successful business is recognizing and pivoting. Pivoting was always, if you're a friends watcher, it's pivot. Absolutely. Yeah.
Also, the post-COVID business setup too. That was another thing where things were starting to wake up after COVID. So there were different challenges there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know what the world is going to throw at us. That you can plan all you want, but you can't plan for COVID. You can't, plan for the things that have happened since then. You have to be adaptable, I think, and that's something that TCM allows. There's that flexibility, I believe, in running these businesses to have balance, to do what works for you to find success. Definitely. And of course, it's not just all challenges, there's opportunities, there's successes. And you know, sometimes those challenges provide an opportunity. When it comes to funding, one of the biggest things is because women entrepreneurs have a harder time achieving funding to open their own businesses, it actually requires them to have a more detailed and well-planned funding proposal, which are naturally going to lead to more success because you've had to plan out more than most men have to achieve the same thing. So which strengths or expertise do you feel that you've leveraged or plan on leveraging in your careers as women in TCM?
I plan to leverage all of the medical contacts that I made through my 30-some year career when I opened my business. So as part of my, because I suck at social media, and we only have one acupuncturist at home in Sydney, and she's my acupuncturist. And we've already talked about supporting each other when I open my business, and not viewing each other as competitive. And I plan to, like, I'm better with word of mouth than marketing. So I plan to go to some medical conferences, set up a table to be able to talk to the medical community so that, like, doctors and people, also nurses and paramedics, and everybody knows that they should be coming to get treatment and recommending it to their patients as well. So that's what I plan to do to help build my client base.
I like that. I like that you've got the mindset to be able to merge the two. It's merging the two worlds, because most of your clientele, if they don't know about TCM, there's really that education side, but you have to be able to tie it into what they already know. And that's the Western medical field. So
And for
I like that.
me, TCM has filled in the gaps of what I know in Western medicine. Like, as I've learned my TCM, I'm like, oh, that's why that works that way. It's not just because, it's because of this. So if I can get that message out there that Chinese medicine can fill in the gaps of the unknown in Western medicine, to work collaboratively together instead of being in competition with each other, Western and Eastern medicine. That's what I'm hoping to achieve. And since my plan is to I'm opening a business with my friend who's a massage therapist. So we also plan to do treatments together. We plan to offer a treatment where you would get a half-hour massage before you do your acupuncture. So she can do the meridians, warm you up, and then I come in and do acupuncture.
I like it. So you took the blended program and you're creating a blended program. Nice. Amanda, what strengths or expertise have you leveraged in your career?
Well, there's two things that I've started leveraging is that, well, being a licensed massage therapist, RMT, and acupuncturist, I'm able to do a combo treatment. I've had a very, very successful time with having a combo treatment. So it's 45 minutes of each. So 2 hours is too long for a lot of people, but an hour and a half, yeah, they can swing that. And you get to leverage and you get to change it. Okay, do you want 20 minutes of one or more of the other? You get to move that. I just have to, when it comes to direct billing, I just have to be very clear. What are we doing here? It's that, just learning to find that balance. But that I got a lot of clientele from that, a lot of word of mouth from that. And I converted a lot of people that were absolutely, nope, not going to do any acupuncture. I said, why don't you try 30 minutes? It's like, oh, I can do that. I'm like, yeah, just try it for one, like for a smaller issue. Since I've spoken them so much about their issues already, I didn't have to do the full, like, huge intake you do for like a large, because you just want, like, shoulder pain. You just want it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned to leverage that. In addition, I also, for massage therapy, I teach hot stone and cupping.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned to leverage teaching, get some income in there. I'm like, okay, how do I get extra money, get more bang for my buck? And when it's teaching, and now I'm working on acupuncture courses, kind of bringing both together.
Mm-hmm.
So having more introductory and review courses, because that's one thing I noticed with the education online when you have to get your CEUs. Those courses are more geared to people who've been out 5-6+ years, and a lot of the things I'm just lost on, and I'd like to develop some review courses that'll help, that are more advanced than what you learn in school, but will give you a challenge, but won't over like won't confuse you. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing to try to get more funding. So I'm using, I also used to be a English as a second language teacher. So I'm used to the classroom. I'm used to teaching. So I'm leveraging that strength as well as my massage and blending it with TCM.
I love that. It definitely seems like a field where you can really pull on past experience, regardless of what that work background is, to apply the skills into your business. Yeah.
Kim,
Yes,
can I adding something in that topic?
absolutely.
Because we have a two clinic, one in Kunpo, one in Bedford. Our Kunpo, because we teaching so much, manage school, Kunpo barely use it. We try to hire acupuncturists for a little while, many years. We ask a graduate student each time when I ask, they say, oh, they have a 3 job already. They have a job already. Before they graduate, they already have a 5 years or 5 months. I had just asked a student, she say, oh, I got a job already working with the chiropractor together. So I have a difficulty to finding people to working there. And so there's a lot of opportunity. Another one thing, you're talking about the women in business.
Mhm.
I just want the men and the women next, like this is a traditional Chinese calendar. This year is a dragon year. From this year to 20 years, from 2024 to 2044. This is for 20 years is 下元九运, the nine fortune and the lower yuan. And the women, special middle-aged women is in charge in that 20 years. And this, because of the fire element, so anything with nature healing, mind-body healing, traditional Chinese medicine, and beauty, all is the main part for the next 20 years career choice. So if people choose, special female, choose a career in acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, and that is a great choice. Yes,
Definitely.
thank you.
Is it, is the fire element related to the heart? Is
Fire
that-
element relieve the
Yeah.
heart, relieve the mind, and it's good to. That's why meditation is a good choice
Mhm.
too, and that's a good. If
So,
people want to specialize in the heart
mhm.
and use acupuncture to working on the heart is good. Working on the psychology, mind body balance is a great choice too. Working on the beauty acupuncture. That's why cosmetic acupuncture getting so much there. Have this is 14 students, the classroom all full. We only can take a 14, so all full.
Yeah. Not awful, awful.
all.
Awful. Yes. That it's when you speak of the year of the dragon and fire element and heart, if you look at the last point on the slide that's on the screen, is that most female founders are motivated by intrinsic values. They're making a difference and a social impact, and their why. The why are they doing this? And those are the most successful businesses that are the ones that make a difference. They're the ones who attract your clientele versus having to go out and pull them in. And even this has been studied by business, different types of magazines, different places have pulled statistics on this, and it does show that women founders have that drive and that heart in their business, and that's what makes them more successful than a lot of male entrepreneurs, because they're very money driven, which you have to be a little more aggressive when it comes to finding your clientele. So it's interesting how that ties together and kind of creates a nice little system. Yeah.
Just to jump in about that heart, one thing a lot of clients have commented with me that they said, Amanda, like they can I got text messages at 10 o'clock at night and they apologize and they said, Amanda, is there anything you have? Can you squeeze me in? And when you're starting out, you can't just be focused on this is my schedule, and you have to learn how to bend a bit and say, okay, yeah, I'll come in out of hours or come a little earlier, work a little later. And that alone, just doing that, they they gush now. They tell everyone, "Oh, no, no, no. I got someone, they got me in," and they recommend because they're just so
Yeah.
grateful for that little extra heart that you give.
Absolutely. I think that's something that I think most people, but women especially, feel in the Western medical side of things, that there's so much lack of care in our assessments and treatments and what's available. I know I can personally say I had a doctor's appointment on the 17th and they ended up canceling it, and they can't get me in until the 29th of May. Like, how is that helpful? Where's the heart in that? It's definitely a different environment. So I appreciate you sharing that.
And that
Yeah.
appointment will be rushed, and they won't really listen to you, and they'll probably just tell you it's your hormones.
Definitely. And I think that kind of leads to the next part, that not only is there a lot of opportunity for women to work in TCM and acupuncture, but I think it's pretty fair to say that with the whole body approach to TCM, that there's a major advantage for women to come and get TCM and acupuncture treatments. Um, can anybody share, without, of course, giving too many personal details, but share some maybe impactful healing that you've had with some of your clients, or where you've really had them say how much they've done? Yeah.
So, I'd say initially, because of my um my initial existing client base, I do prenatal massage. So I thought I'd end up seeing a lot more pregnant women than I do, though that comes in waves too. But I really kind of ended up working with a lot of menopausal age women and hot flashes and emotional things and all the things that come with that shift in life. And then also women around my age that are struggling with menstrual conditions and stuff like that. So I've definitely ran into things in the hormone department, but also because I've been dealing with a lot of women who've already had babies, or women that are already menopausal, I fell into this niche that I didn't anticipate, of female hair loss specifically, um, and treating it from a TCM level, looking for imbalances, trying to help them narrow it down because it's a really wide umbrella. And then I'd recommend some things, and then they would say, come back, and I say, oh, well, did you go get, say, rosemary oil and try taking this and this and this? And they go, I don't know what to do. You do it. I go, okay. So then I ended up formulating some topical hair products that women can use. And all they have to do is bring me back a bottle, glass bottle, so I can recycle it. And then it's affordable and they have it on tap, because what happens is women can't get to the bottom of what's going on with their hair because it can be related to blood, it can be related to deficiencies, all these different things that we know could be an origin, specifically with hair loss and problems with our hormones. And they could run around and spend $1 billion on hair supplements that only focus on biotin for some reason, and spend an absolute fortune on different types of hair products. So I'm trying to make this palatable and something worth their time, and getting to the root of that cause, if that makes sense. So I found that, yeah, as I said, I do still work with pregnant women, but I thought I'd really end up working a lot with those ladies, and I ended up in this whole women's hair department. But that's just where this medicine led me to. So it's been interesting.
I think a lot of it too, like hair loss is kind of that, it's a symptom of such a bigger issue, that even though that's what they're coming to you for, you're recognizing and still helping with something that, they may not just have understood how that's been impacting their body. I love that TCM works that way. It's like, here's the symptom, but here's the root cause. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Has anybody else had some success stories from treatments they'd like to share?
I had a few with digestive issues. Especially that seems to be where I'm doing quite well with what I'm doing. I had people who had for years IBS, and they were terrified of going out and eating, and they had such a hard time. They had watery stool for years, and I gave them a treatment, one treatment. And they said, Amanda, for one solid week, I now know what normal is. I don't have to fear eating something a little unusual. And she's been coming now once a month, because near the end of the month, things go back. And yeah, so that really helped. I had another person with the opposite situation where things get stuck and they're only able to have a bowel movement once every 2 weeks.
Wow.
It's very painful. And they said, Amanda, your treatments are great. And so they're able to go normally. So, and they said they tried everything. They went to doctors, couldn't find anything. And they just found that acupuncture just brought things back into balance and got the body to do what it wants to do.
Absolutely. And it's funny because that's one of those things that a lot of, especially women, don't want to talk about when it comes to bowel movements and digestive issues, but it's something that can be very impactful on their lives. So it's great that you have treatment options for that.
Hi, Kim.
Absolutely.
Hi,
Hi.
folks.
Oh, hi, Lucy.
Sorry, I was late to log in. Clinic got busy and student needs got busy, but glad to be here. I think I'm just logging in at the right time. If we're looking for stories of treatment successes with with patients,
Mhm.
I treat everybody. I'm a general practice practitioner, but I'm also a reproductive health specialist, which is a lot more than just fertility. It's about helping both males and females harmonize their hormone balance to maximize their health as well as their reproductive health. It's also about obstetric treatment. I treat a lot of pregnant women, help them successfully carry and have a smooth and happy and enjoyable labor, as well as fourth trimester, which is when they give birth for the first 3 months. But one of my favorite stories of clinic is, and a hand on heart, this is absolutely true. I had a lady who worked in a really, really high pressure job. She was a marketing manager for a global sports brand. Her husband worked at the same job, and it was the classic get up at 4:30, hit the gym until 6:30, be in the office by 7, work through until 9, have a working dinner with colleagues, and then home, bed, same thing again, day in, day out, just absolutely burning the candle at both ends. Anyway, her husband had a stroke at the age of 32 because of this lifestyle. And he's fine now. It was a congenital heart issue as well. But they moved back. They were in the US and then they moved back to the UK, which is where I was treating them. And they were trying to conceive. They'd been trying for a year. She hadn't had a menstrual bleed for 6 years. The duration of her, pretty much since while she was at university and then her working life, hadn't had a menstrual period. No, wasn't on a medication. And was trying to conceive and used acupuncture as well as TCM nutrition advice from me. And she still didn't have a period, but she conceived her first child, carried him, absolute gem, had acupuncture all the way through, conceived her second child, same thing, conceived her third child, and in between her second and third, her periods came back. And that was all down to the use of Chinese medicine, because we could understand how her body was working in so much more depth than she could and than Western medicine could. And we were able to help her find her own cycle, even though she wasn't have that obvious marker of it. And she's great. And now she actually does guest lectures for me here, teaches my students about marketing, because she's such an advocate of Chinese medicine. She's, she really drank the Kool-Aid. She really did. And now she has 3 beautiful children, all thanks to TCM. So she's definitely one of my favorite cases. And on a similar fertility field, I had a patient who very tragically lost her baby. She was 36 weeks pregnant. Baby was healthy. She was healthy. Unfortunately, a tree fell on the car that she was driving and it killed her baby. in utero. And she came to see me 2 weeks after that event. And so we did a huge amount of work with her emotional health and her emotional well-being and the vibration that her emotions have within her body. And it's because every non-physical thing has a physical vibration as well. So so we worked on her, literally the epitome of holistic medicine, worked on her as a whole. She wanted to conceive again, and understandably, she went to a fertility doctor because it was difficult. She wasn't conceiving, and I'm explaining to her, well, yes, your heart is connected to your uterus, so anything that shocks one of those will resonate in the other. She went to a fertility doctor who said that your hormone level is such that you will never have a baby. You don't have any eggs. You'll only have to use donor eggs. And I said to her, no, that's not right. You were just pregnant with your own baby. That blood test is showing the shock and the trauma that your body's experienced, and it's altered your chemical balance. So we carried on. Thankfully, she fully trusted, and we carried on just using Chinese medicine. She managed to conceive again, carried her baby to full term. I probably didn't get in a car during that pregnancy, but managed to have a baby and heal those wounds, both physically and non-physically. So, Chinese medicine does amazing things. And I think being a female practitioner, it makes it easier to have these conversations with people, even with males. It just makes it easier to have those conversations about how we are connected physically and non-physically. Whereas some of our male students here, they kind of feel a bit strange talking about those things. It's not really their wheelhouse. Women are expected to talk about those things, but it's more easily received, definitely. Although I have definitely seen male practitioners who have been very, very good at it. They've been very good at it maybe because they learned from women. I don't know. They were my students. I'm just saying.
Just putting it out there, right?
Just pointing out that, do as you're told. But yeah, Chinese medicine is incredible for women's health. And with women's health comes society's health, because not to bang a feminist drum, but women are the glue that keep everybody together. That's not disputed. We are the homekeepers, the workforce, the educators, the healthcare providers, the carers at home. We are the makers, the doers, the menders, and the carriers. And actually, it's interesting when we treat male mental health, they're much more needy, and it's much easier for them to talk about how they're feeling than women are, because women are we inherently just carry a lot more. So being able to help women really does have ripples through family health, workplace health, societal health, community health, because we keep everything together. So yeah, I'm the biggest advocate for Chinese medicine in the world, I think, and especially for women's health. So they're my two stories to share.
Thank you so much. Those are definitely impactful stories. And I think when it comes to women's health, there's so many factors to it, and there's so many different ranges to what's available and what intertwines together. Men's health as well, but I just find women have put forward that brave face. They've put forward the hiding and the holding of things to function at the level that we function at, which tends to resonate with the things that go through Chinese medicine. In-house stagnation and blockages happen, and like that comes from a very emotional place a lot of times, right?
Absolutely. And it's a true fact, and it's a sad fact, that actually suicide is the biggest killer of men under 40. But how can we address that? By being men often find it easier to talk to a female practitioner than they do a male practitioner about their mental health. And I think because we are genetically wired to be caregivers as well as providers. As a healthcare provider, we are caregivers. So we can help, female practitioners can help males with their mental health far more than males can. Just because of the ease of conversation around that. issue and that understanding of that issue. And we can reflect a understanding of self-reflection in a way. Well, it's yin and yang balance, basically, is what I'm saying. Is females are yin and males are yang. So female practitioner can help a male a lot more than a male can, because then it's an imbalance. So yeah, definitely that's been a blessing to me as well in my field of practice. I would often be the person that men would talk to about their issues and their concerns and their worries. And I knew that they weren't talking to their male doctor or their male osteopath or their male massage therapist. That's all just nuts and bolts. Whereas we're the lubrication that keeps those nuts and bolts working.
Absolutely. Has anyone else had the same experience treating men's mental health or men's I see Crystal nodding. Yeah, it's definitely. And it's these types of stories, and I appreciate everybody sharing that. It's these types of stories and the impact that we make, well, you guys make as practitioners. I'm not a practitioner, but I'm learning and I'm getting treatments at student clinic and I'm seeing results, and it's been amazing. But this is what makes those challenges worthwhile is those success stories, those impacts you make, and knowing you're on the path that you're meant to do. I think that's a big part of what comes in for practitioners. Absolutely. So what I've put together as a slide here is actually some of those statistics I was talking about earlier. So the growth of the market, the longevity of a career in acupuncture. A lot of our, well, pretty much everybody here, it has done massage or a very nursing, very heavy, challenging on the body jobs. Whereas with acupuncturists, it's a lot less of a demand. The demand is growing for acupuncturists, as everybody has talked about. There's, very few practitioners out there who are doing this, so there needs to be more. The ability, the types of things. So the World Health Organization globally actually scientifically recognizes 107 conditions that acupuncture treats. And that doesn't even cover the scope of it, but that's what they're willing to say. Scientifically, we can prove this. I'm sure there's more studies going on every year that number will increase. And of course, opportunity. So this is statistics from Canadian wages across Canada for acupuncturists. And I think for my last question for everybody that's here, seeing kind of where this market goes, seeing from your experiences, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years as a practitioner or as a business owner?
I'll jump in.
Sure. I'm like, I know I sprung that question on you guys. I didn't have that on my list before, but
well, for myself, I see myself doing acupuncture full time. Like, this is the thing with RMT. Our hands only last so long. It's rough on our hands. We have a very limited, so I really have to push acupuncture now. And even my clients know it. So when they are now recommending acupuncture or the combo, because my hands simply can't take too many massage clients anymore. So I see myself doing a lot more teaching and growing, and hopefully one day I'll get to the point where I can have a clinic where I'd have other acupuncturists working for and with me. And I'd like to have the teaching component as well.
well, you know where the college is.
So we've only kind of got our feet wet a little bit with even having other instructors come in. Like, for instance, it took us a really long time to nail somebody for CPR. And it felt silly to me for everybody to have to drive to Halifax for CPR. In fact, when we finally got a CPR instructor just to come to our practice to provide that for people needing renewal, I actually had someone come all the way out from Shelburne So to me, it says that, like, not trying to knock the city, but a lot of things are really concentrated in Halifax. Because I think one of you said, yeah, you're from the Sydney area, like people can get really sort of cut off. So I'd like to see that expand. As of right now, our in-house stuff has generally been free. So I haven't been very good about making money in other places. I'm not very good at making money sometimes. I'll be busy and I could do more and branch out, but it's like there's that, like, the earlier discussions that we had, that there's, sort of the wiring that's there is like generosity and helping out, and it's less money oriented than maybe the male entrepreneur scope. But I did do my first foray into that. So I had a a hair health talk because it brought people in that may not have known that acupuncture and some natural things they could do could help. Um, because as I said earlier, there's so many causes of hair loss, and it gave women an opportunity to just shoot me questions or follow up with emails and send me pictures if that's helpful of their hair, and if they were still struggling or didn't know what avenue to take because it was like a 40-page PDF, they could come see me for an appointment, right? Now I charged a whole $5, which is nothing, but it was a start, right? So I'd like to see in the next couple years, um, all of us kind of and pull, teachers from other places and just sort of get that all out into the world. And yeah, and I agree with that. Like with massage, I mean, I don't plan on stopping. I'm kind of hoping the combo method keeps me going for longer, but that is a reality, right? And and I think there was a thing in the chat. Somebody was concerned about being just an acupuncturist. I think the gateway to that is working in a group, because that interreferral thing, once again, there's so much help from that. Like as Amanda said, you're growing just your acupuncture end of it. So if you've got, say, you're pairing with an RMT or a chiropractor, gonna be like, look, I'm gonna address this aspect of your pain, but the acupuncture can do this and then some, right? So there's this huge opportunity.
There is also in TCM, there's quite a bit of different types of massage that are part of that as well. So gua sha massage, where it's not the impact on your hand, but you're doing a different type of massage. Acupressure massage, meridian massage. There's all kinds of options that still go under the TCM banner that you can expand on and grow with too. So, and even still be able to add as a combo treatment, fire cupping that still pulls, it helps release those muscles. It helps pull the blood flow to the right places. There's definitely a lot that you can kind of pair with it too, I think. Ah. And what about you, Michelle?
Well, hopefully my business will be, up and running and successful. I can teach my own in-house first aid, so I'm good for there. I don't have to get a first CPR instructor to come like Crystal did. But I do plan, when I open my business, I have some volunteering I want to do. So I'm hoping to be able to build that into, not take away from my business too much. And the business that I have in mind is going to be a very trauma-informed somatic healing space. So I don't know if we'll be bringing other modalities in with us, but something I'm hoping when I'm done school and I join the association, I'm going to be able to help is, I feel that acupuncture should be a protected title, like RMT is a protected title, so that people who do a weekend course, such as physiotherapists and chiropractors, cannot say that they're doing acupuncture. So they're not taking away from what it is we do as a TCM acupuncturist. And so that they can just say that they're doing dry needling as opposed to acupuncture. I think getting acupuncturist as a protected title, the same as massage therapist is going to be good, would be great for acupuncture as it grows, so that nobody else can call themselves an acupuncturist.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's coming along in Canada with 4 provinces, I believe 4 or 5 provinces that have requirements that have to with the PanCan
Well, they have
exam.
they have the colleges, but
Mhm.
here in Nova Scotia, RMTs don't have a college, but their association fought to get their title as protected.
Mhm.
So our first step, we need to get a protected title.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for the safety of everyone, I think that's a good ambition to be
I
working
did get
towards.
needled by a physiotherapist when I was going through a lot of physio for my
Mhm.
shoulder, and I have no idea where he was sticking the needles or what it was he was doing now that I know. And I have friends who'll send me pictures. They're going to military people, they're going to physio, and they're like sending me this picture. I'm like, okay, I know what your injury is, but why are they sticking a needle there?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I think we need to work to make acupuncture like people recognize how much goes into acupuncture, that it's just not sticking needles in random places. And I think that's going to help every single acupuncturist in Nova Scotia.
The ones who are accredited anyways.
Yes.
The right ones. Yeah.
The ones, well, yes, the ones that belong to an association.
Hmm. I know, Amanda, you have an appointment coming up with a client, so, and you're going to need to jump off, but is there anybody
Yeah.
that has any questions for Amanda before she leaves? You can either unmute or ask in the group chat.
If not, I'll just say one thing here. For those of you that are in student clinics still, yes, so like, because I addressed the yes, it is an advantage to be an RMT, but also RMTs can be very complacent. Understand, we get our clients, but we can only ask them so many times. So we have to do the same thing the rest of you do. We have to market, push, learn, study. And here's one advantage you have is that you are not considered competition. If you're an acupuncturist going in and you're the only one, you're not competition with anybody. Another, me as an RMT, they may be, oh, you're going to take my clients for massage as well. Maybe people want to do both instead of going to one after the other. You don't have that. So you can, so you get that. You get to go to RMTs. Hey, I'll give you a free treatment. I want to see what you were about. Tell me about you. What do you do? What do you need? What do you want to see in your clients that you can't do? Also, one thing, while you're still in clinic, you get to research what's out there right now. And you get to offer, like, hey, when you're going out, I said, like, I'm graduating at this time, I'll be licensed. I'd love to offer you a few free treatments to let you know my style. And also, here's the good time while you're in student clinic, build your clientele now and say, hey, I'm a good price. This is where I'm going to be. And market yourself 3 months before you're leaving.
Absolutely. And start that actually part of our
Yeah.
program is marketing hours that
Yeah.
which is designed to build awareness around TCM and acupuncture to the general public. It's about building your own brand, who you are as a practitioner and who you're going to be as a practitioner, and gaining those clients at your student clinic, because the majority of our clients, if you're staying in Nova Scotia, they're going to follow you if you've built
Yeah.
that rapport with them and if you've shown them what you're capable of doing. They follow you. You're starting a business with your own, or starting in a clinic somewhere with people that know what you're capable of doing already. So that's a great point. I think that's something that a lot of the other programs don't have as many hours in clinical. We do 660 hours in the program of practice, and that's something that's a huge advantage going out after graduating.
So, thank you very much,
Yeah.
everyone. I've learned so much from all of you. It's great to hear you, and take care.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. Definitely. So that's all of my questions for everybody. If there's any other questions anybody has, I know the chat's been going as we do this. But if anybody has any questions for Michelle or Crystal.
Someone just asked a question about Quebec. Quebec
Mhm.
is a licensed province, so you have to write the Pan-Canadian there. They have a college, Quebec, Ontario, BC, Newfoundland, and I don't remember
Alberta.
Alberta.
Yeah. Yes, Gra.
Yes, I am from Montreal, Quebec, and that's something that concerns me, the Pan-Canadian exam, because actually it's only twice a year, and it's gonna take a long time before I get my license to practice in Quebec. And that also stops me from marketing myself because I cannot market a business if I am not regulated, if I don't have a license in Quebec. So I was wondering if you have other students in the college from Quebec and what is their experience, if somebody knows how it works, because it's a lot of time consuming and we have to survive somehow. So we have to work something. So if you have some ideas, I will appreciate.
I know the people who have to write the Pan-Canadian, we're finishing the end of August and they're writing in October, I believe. And that's just not Quebec people. That affects the people who have to write the Pan-Canadian for other provinces as well. So it would be just to figure out, get your program lined up so that it finishes close
Actually,
to.
we spoke with Lucy and she told us, and also when you apply for the Pan-Canadian in October, you're supposed to be graduated by the end of July. And as we will not be graduated by the end of July, we cannot actually take the exam in October. So we have to wait next year in April, which makes 8 months wait. So it's a lot. That's why I'm concerned.
Oh, there's other students. I'm not sure how they're doing it. I don't have to write the Pan-Canadian. I only ever lived in Nova Scotia and have no plans on moving. So you would be best to, I think, to contact the college in the province where you have to write the Pan-Canadian.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, they'll probably have the best advice and tips and tricks and the experience that graduates have had who've been in the same situation. I do know that from what I've been told, all of our graduates have passed the PanCan on their first try. That's been something that any of our graduates who took the exam have come back to us and told us. We don't get to see the results. They don't publish that necessarily, but we have had our students come back and tell us that first try, they were able to, because they learned so much in our program. So that's hopefully something that gives you a little bit of hope. And
yeah,
helps
thank
it.
you. Just the
Yeah.
question is when I will
Yeah.
have the first try. If it's in 8 months after I graduate, it's a lot of wait.
Yeah, it can be. Unfortunately, when it comes to government regulation, they create the timelines. But hopefully we'll be able to get you set up with some more information too. I've noted down your question, so I'll look into that a little bit as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No problem. Does anybody else have any questions? So one other thing I wanted to share as well is some resources. So if becoming an entrepreneur is something that you're interested in doing, or you're on the path to doing, or even already started, there are quite a lot of entrepreneurial resources that are specifically driven to women, because women are actually only 17% of the business owners of small and medium businesses across Canada. The government has put initiatives out to increase that number, because they also recognize how much success women achieve when they're in that role. So there are government programs to be able to supply funding. There is networking programs to be able to help women connect with each other, regardless of what type of business they're opening. A lot of times connecting with people who are running businesses that have nothing to do with yours. Not only can you cross-reference for each other, cross referrals, but they can help with the things that you have in common. There's all of the business side and administrative side and tax side that, a lot of people may not have experience with when they're trying to open their own business. So having resources is something that I wanted to share with everybody. I will also, that will get posted. I'm going to post those links when it gets posted on our website. It'll get posted, and I believe it'll be on YouTube as well. So those links will be available. And I think despite these challenges, and there's opportunities in TCM are abundant, and the growth demand for holistic healthcare is there. I think these stories that our lovely speakers have shared with us, they highlighted perseverance and innovations and patient-centered approaches as a key to building thriving practices. Success looks different for everyone, but if you find your core values and let them drive your actions, that's what'll define your success. And I think everybody I heard from today definitely has that passion and has found their values. So I wish everybody their success in their business. And I want to thank everyone, our guest speakers. I know we only have 2 left on the call, but I do want to thank you guys for taking the time here on this beautiful Saturday, for sharing your experiences and your struggles and your stories. It's been very insightful and inspiring hearing from each of you, and I hope that the audience feels the same way. Thank you for joining us today. If we have, there's a couple more in the chat. Oh, good. Everybody's saying thank you. If there's anybody who is interested in learning more about the college and our diploma of acupuncture, I can definitely do we have a short 15-minute virtual open house that I can go through about our program. And then if you have any questions about the programs, I can answer that at the end. I know, I know most of the people on here are current students, so I'm not sure if anybody's interested in the program, but I can definitely go into that. And Michelle and Crystal, thank you. You're already part of the program or been through the program, so you don't need to stay and hear about it. But thank you so much for participating today. I really appreciate it. Take care. All right, I'm just going to switch screens for anybody who wants to. Stay on to hear about the program. Give me one moment. Oh my goodness. There we go. Can everybody see that okay? Perfect. So if you know from the beginning, my name is Kim Dean, and I'm the admissions advisor here at the Canadian College of Acupuncture and Traditional Chinese Medicine. I'm available to provide you with all of the information you need to navigate an education in TCM and start your career that you could be passionate about. Our doors are always open, and we welcome you to visit the college and become a student for the day to see what CCATCM experience is like firsthand. It's the best way to see what the program is, to see what the courses are like. Our campus is located in the heart of Bedford, overlooking the beautiful Bedford Basin. Not only is the college located on a major bus route, but within walking distance of malls and numerous shops and restaurants, but designed to balance and harmonize the energy on campus, which enhances the students' health and well-being. Our programs go above and beyond what is taught in similar courses provincially, nationally, and internationally. So in addition to meeting the industry standards, our program includes additional enrichment and improved educational experiences. Our acupuncture curriculum is 2,268 hours, which includes 668 hours of clinical training. This is an additional 320 hours of enrichment that the 1,900 hours required by Canadian regulated bodies. Our 20-hour per week class structure allows CCA TCM students to enjoy a proper work-life balance while studying to become a healer. Students will not only be trained in the ancient art of acupuncture and receive a solid foundation in the principles of TCM, but also obtain skills in acupressure massage, fire cupping, nutrition, herbology, tuina massage, gua sha, and so much more. Our goal is to provide you with an in-depth knowledge and skills utilizing a holistic approach that ensures you reach your greatest potential and success as an acupuncturist or a natural nutrition counselor, which is another program we offer, as a healthcare provider and as a person. The CCATCM acupuncture program is a full-time comprehensive acupuncture diploma program consisting of the 2,268 hours with a great attention to the practical and clinical portions. There are 3 different delivery options allowing for flexible learning and a great school life balance. All 3 acupuncture diploma programs share the same curriculum. The differences are in the structure of completion and timeline. In the 3-year full-time acupuncture diploma, years 1 and 2 are entirely dedicated to the academic classroom learning, while the 3rd year is dedicated exclusively to clinical practice with no classroom commitment required. The intensive 2-year acupuncture diploma program contains the same class structure as the 3-year format, while also completing the required clinical practicum concurrently, making this a fast-track program. And we have our blended acupuncture diploma program that allows students to take a portion of their education, some of the theory courses, online for the first year, followed by their second year on site to complete classes, hands-on classes and clinical practice. Applicants are eligible for student loans from all provinces and territories in Canada. Students are also able to access various forms of third-party funding, such as military funding, skills development funding, and First Nations funding. Nova Scotia student loan applications are available in the beginning of May each year for those planning on attending post-secondary institutions. And you can head right to the Government of Canada website to be able to access those. Should you not be a permanent resident of Nova Scotia living in the province for at least 12 consecutive months, you will need to apply for a student loan from the province in which you were previously living. You must have your completed income forms, tax income forms, at the time of completing your application. Once completed, please allow 4 to 6 weeks for processing. And as you heard from our guest speakers today, a career in acupuncture is definitely something on the growth scale. Statistics that are coming in from Statistics Canada are actually going to be even more accurate because they have now given acupuncturists their own designation when it comes to statistics, instead of them being generalized to the generalized term of practitioners of natural healing, which included things like midwifery, that weren't accurate to the numbers of what an acupuncturist actually can produce in a job. So that's going to be exciting to see the next time statistics get run. And the CCATCM clinic experience is a major stepping stone in our students' preparation to practice in the real world. After only 3 months, students begin helping patients in the student clinic, as well as their family and friends with their healing journey. Students also obtain observation hours at the ST and LC acupuncture and natural medicine clinics, which is Dr. Lee and Dr. Chen's clinics here in Nova Scotia. Our clinic here in Bedford sees about 90 to 200 treatments per week. So that's actually increased over the last little while. Visiting our student clinic is also a great opportunity to get a feel for student life. If you live in the area, our student clinic offers not only acupuncture treatments, but also fire cupping, acupressure massage, moxibustion, gua sha massage, and more to help with a wide range of health concerns, all under the supervision of highly trained and skilled practitioners. You can book an appointment online, and there is a link on our website, CCATCM.ca, to be able to do that. If you'd like to learn more about our diploma programs or student clinic, please don't hesitate to reach out at admissions@ccatcm.ca or go to our website to connect with us. I'll be available to take any questions anytime. I'm here Monday to Friday. I even do a couple evenings a week if an evening is better for you. But I am definitely available to talk about the program. Does anybody have any questions? All right. I think if nobody has any questions, then I want to thank you for staying on. I know the last little bit hearing about after over an hour of chatting with some great practitioners, but I appreciate your time and I'm so glad that you got to join us today. Hopefully you got some insightful information.